Thank you for joining us. This is the Reboot Something podcast by Trilogy Innovations. My name is Chad Jeffries, your host. With me, we have Randy Cottle, Vice President at Trilogy. And then we have our friend at Vertx Partners, Scott Rotruck. So, Scott, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, no, it's great to be with both of you. Always enjoy being with Randy. It's good to be with you.
I was like, I'll sit in on this one. I love Scott.
Right. Well, I remember seeing you from Tech and but I don't know if we actually got introduced or not. But
we didn't. But there were a lot of people, and that's why we didn't get introduced, because that was enormously successful.
Right.
Yeah. It really was. I'm so glad I got to attend. And I met so many people. In fact, last night I saw people who that's where I met them.
Right.
And they're in town here trying to do business with NETL.
Oh,
that's how important Tech was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It worked, guys. It really did.
Well, that's actually what it was for, was to bring people from the area that's not to see some of these opportunities, and then the government folks to see it as well. So that way they're like, we should do more in the state of West Virginia. Right.
Yeah. Oh, this is a perfect place. We're close enough to Washington, but far enough away to sort of meet that test of dispersing assets out of that central area, which is something I know we tried to do. And we can provide not only the talent to them, we can provide energy to them at a redundant level that I don't think anybody else can match. And then we have universities in our midst that can help keep producing that talent at all levels.
Right.
For myself, being on the West Virginia Board of Education, I am so optimistic now with all this new churn.
Yes.
Our kids coming up through our K-12 system, K-16 on through college, whatever course they take, we're going to have opportunities for them.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because Tech, all the money that's raised goes to a nonprofit, and that's what we do with that money, is work with K through 12 to get them excited about STEM projects and stuff like that. And get that money back in their hands to show that you don't have to leave the state of West Virginia. There's plenty of great jobs here, and look at all the cool things that we're doing.
Oh, exactly. What I love about you guys is you guys are STEM and STEAM.
Yes.
So we have a thing that's part of the Public Education Collaborative called STEAM TAC, where it's a technical assistance center. We're going around the state and trying to mobilize where we have capabilities and talent and sharing them with other areas to make sure they can enrich their curricula as well.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing is, it is STEAM. I mean, it is STEM plus the arts. And you guys are both.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that Tech was part engineering.
Right.
We all had, we all had the codes.
Right.
But we also had a lot of art happening there. The art of putting people together, the art of the conversation. It was great.
That's awesome. And just to give the audience here a little context, Tech was a conference that we put on towards the end of last year in August, and we're getting ready to go for the second one here coming up.
Hopefully this week,
June
coming out. It'll
so,
actually be June 19th and 20th for those that want to attend. But this year, everybody wanted to play golf last year, right? They're like, hey, why are we playing golf? So we're actually doing a golf tournament on the 19th, which is a federal holiday now. So we'll be doing it here in Morgantown at the Pines Country Club. That'll be from 12 to 5. And then that evening, we'll do a reception at the Marriott from 6 to 9. And then Tech will be June 20th. We picked June 20th because that's West Virginia's birthday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so what better way?
And the 19th, Juneteenth is an important day in the history of the country. Absolutely. It also happens to be my wife's and my 41st wedding anniversary. So we will play golf.
You know what's, that's actually my birthday too. So.
Is that right?
See, it is a very important day, obviously.
Very important day. So.
It's going to be great to have the second one. I think you'll have a bigger turnout than ever. The word's gotten around. Whoever named that deserves a lot of credit. Did you get credit for that? All right. Well, Brandon's not in there. I'll tell you what.
He wasn't sure at first. He goes, I don't know. We'll have to think about that. And I'm like, no, trust me, it's catchy. It's catchy.
Yes, it is catchy.
It was very catchy.
It is.
Yes, exactly. We'll play on words there. But no, Scott, I didn't actually finish the introduction there. Just to give folks context too. He is the Vice President of External Relations. So Scott, if you just want to tell us a little bit about what Vertx Partners does.
Okay, well, let me tell you a little bit about its beginning. Sean Frisbee, who is an aerospace engineer, graduated from WVU, was in ROTC program, went through the Air Force. Had a great career there, served over in Europe, also served in the Mideastern Theater of Action. He became the head of the F-22 program. And when he got out of the Air Force, when he retired, he stayed in Ohio and he ran 3 companies over there. One was a drone company, one was a downhole diagnostics company related to the oil and gas industry, and one was a data analytics company. So he really had the entrepreneurial bug.
Yeah.
Now he'd been on the buy side for the Air Force. Now he had the entrepreneurial bug, and he joined with Mike Grady and folks at the development office, and he created the Mountaineer Alliance. So he was really trying his best to make sure that our graduates from across the institutions in the area, and even regionally, really had the best opportunity to reach out there and find those expatriate West Virginians who've gone off and done well that we don't know about anymore, and get them to come back and have opportunities for our students and so on and so forth. With that, he helped build the Ohio Federal Research Network. And that was under the auspice of the Parallax Advanced Research based in Dayton, Ohio. And Parallax has a contract with the Air Force. We're a subcontractor to them under what's called a PIA, a Partnership Intermediary Agreement. But our mission, and I'll get larger on this, but our mission, the focus mission, is to get technologies transitioned into the Air Force to solve Air Force problems, larger national security problems, all across the agencies, all across the branches of the military. And that's tech transition.
Excellent.
And they also reach out to small businesses to help connect those. And we actually were awarded an SBIR from the Air Force because Vertx Partners had connected us.
Tetrix, right?
Yeah, with Tetrix. That's exactly right. Using artificial intelligence, machine learning to weed out radio signals. So obviously it's being very successful.
Being a connector is what I won't say we're a dating service, but we are really, really trying to put people together. And there's a variety of ways that you can do that. So Sean Frisbee speaks fluent Air Force, still understands the military very, very well. People will take his call. He understands how to interpret the subtleties and nuances of what may be out there in an SBR solicitation that somebody new won't know. But part of our mission is not just to get technologies into the Air Force supply chain to solve their issues. It's to make sure that small business gets to participate. There's a big effort, and it always has been. When I was on the buy side myself, Hercules Aerospace, I was compelled to try to find small businesses to participate. It was very hard. So we need to try even harder to do that. But beyond just meeting that goal, now the military and other agencies believe that problems will be solved by technologies that are developed by some very small companies who have to work together collaboratively so they can compete. So this is really collaborate to compete. And we're putting people together, whether it's in academia, whether it's in industry, whether it's in government, and you'll hear those three always put up, those three working together. And in fact, Parallax Advanced Research has a thing called the triple helix that involves those three. I think there's another important component to it, and that's the nonprofit. And Parallax is a 501c3 nonprofit. They could sit here and let everybody else both compete as hard as they can to make things better. The competition brings us, and yet have a point of collaboration. So everybody competes as hard as they can and collaborates when they need to.
Well, and that's part of the problem too. Once you do kind of blown up and get to be a bigger company, the amount of red tape that you have to go through to get little things done anymore. That's why working with small business and working with nonprofits and other things, you can be innovative and try things out because, again, you're just trying to establish yourself and you're willing to do whatever it takes to get stuff done. Whereas some of these larger companies, especially that end up going public and then are traded and everything, it's all the bottom line and all the bureaucracy. So working with small business, being able to do this has definitely flourish.
Well, I have a special fondness for small business.
Yeah.
Well, my dad was a small businessman for his entire life. My brother has been a small businessman. I have not chosen that route, but I have chosen the route of being an angel investor, and I'm in a couple venture funds. So we are looking to try to build the entrepreneurial enterprise in West Virginia. I think right now I'm seeing better partnering among the higher ed institutions. Marshall, WVU are working so well together.
Absolutely.
And don't forget Shepherd over in the Eastern Panhandle.
Yes.
We have other institutions who really have a lot of promise to pitch in on all that.
Yeah, and to that point, that's what we were trying to do with Techie. I know we did in Fairmont last year. We're doing it in Morgantown, but we're looking at either Charleston or Martinsburg next year, just because we want to move it all around the state, make sure the spotlight's being shown all over the state, and get that collaboration. That's very important.
It is, and we need to go to them.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right.
We have to go to them.
We have to. It's a long ways. I've traveled back. This isn't like driving across Texas. But if you go from our Eastern Panhandle to our capital, it's 5 hours.
Right. Yeah.
And you're going to come through Morgantown to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a few other choices, but there's even more trucks on those roads.
Right. Yeah.
But no, I think you're exactly right on taking the show on the road. And I think we need to do that. There's a sort of a tendency to keep in one place.
Yeah.
A lot of things in Charleston, they bear the responsibility for managing and taking care of things, and even organizations. We need to get them on the road. We've taken the Board of Education on the road. I think we need to do that when we can, Randy. It's not easy.
Yeah.
You know, one of the greatest successes we have in West Virginia is not a private company. It's a nonprofit called Mountain Stage. You know, they just celebrated 40 years, right? And it's they're really so entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
And they go on the road, and there's such a message to the outside world about us.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's people all over the country that know and hear about them.
Yeah.
It says West Virginia can accomplish some pretty great things.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like part of the mission is to support science and technology and the innovation happening in the Appalachian region. Could you talk about some of the projects that Vertx is currently working on, and just give us a little more insight?
Well, I mean, Randy mentioned one of the key ways is by getting people to partner together like they do Trilogy and Tetrix.
Yeah.
But another thing that we're working on very hard, especially Sean Frisbee lending his background to it, is advanced air mobility.
Yes.
If you went back 10 years ago, you'd see Jeff Bezos on 60 Minutes talking about how X% of what he had to deliver, the last 85% of the cost is in the last mile. And most of it weighed less than 5 pounds. Sort of indicative of what he was thinking.
Yeah.
You saw Anderson Cooper was on 60 Minutes this past April the 17th, flying in what was really an ultralight, but it looked like an eVTOL. But that is so promising for West Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
So we're working on building what in essence is a proving ground down in Mingo County. Good news. There was just a congressional direct spend. It's issued to Mingo County, and $1.2 million of that will go towards buying equipment to establish a facility in Mingo County up on a mine site where there's everything that you need. Bad weather, no connectivity, right?
Right, exactly.
Nothing in the airspace, where you can really test and prove up all these new things that we need to test and prove up.
Yeah.
And then what's really wonderful is there's $1.7 million to build aviation, aerospace, avionics curricula for around the state, starting in Mingo County, but to spread around the state. Because we have little places, even like Bridgeport's pretty significant now.
Oh, yeah.
Where we have people, Shepherd Shepherd University started a program. They're working with the Guard. Again, people like Randy said, collaborating together. So that's really something we're working very hard on. Again, Sean has great experience in that. He ran a drone company at one time. Well, we have a council set up, and it's populated now. The governor appointed people to focus on this because we believe not only we can be a proving ground for it, and where it used to be thought of as urban air mobility, it's now advanced air mobility. And I think most of what is going to be proved will be proved in the rural areas where we have this ability to do it without the clutter of the urban area.
Change the elevation and everything, wind.
And if you try to get on a military base, you're going to have such little time to do any testing.
Right.
So we've got it off to a good start on this. And there's a council appointed now. And then here's one more piece to it that we're thinking on out there. We think about coal. Coal historically, you go back to the Carter era, and we went coal-fired baseload power to really put electricity through the wires in this country.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
Things have changed dramatically since then. Coal's had its ups and downs, but coal was one of our greatest sources of carbon.
Yeah.
We have companies, one's here in Morgantown in our midst right here, AmeriCarbon. There's going to be a facility down in Wyoming County built that's going to be able to take coal, some of that coal that's produced there, and they're going to be able to turn it into an extremely high-grade products. The carbon becomes a precursor to carbon fiber. Right. Now we're having to source what we use from the coking process primarily in China. Think about this, as we look at the supply chain that's evolved over the last 30, 40 years, not only with our complicity in this country, some with our encouragement, as we try to get the lowest cost for the worldwide supply chain, now we're worried about being able to make things here again.
Yes.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah.
And West Virginia has these tremendous resources.
Absolutely.
And coal can be a key part of that.
Yeah.
And so can natural gas. And if you look at CH4, which is primarily methane, the number one gas in the natural gas stream, hydrogen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
This is
Hydrogen
endless
hub.
opportunity for us. And I should say I'm not a chemist or a
Yeah,
chemical engineer, but I read about that.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's so exciting. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about the Board of Education being part of that too. What easier way to get kids excited about the future than show them how to fly a drone or being able to do that? What kid doesn't want to go and be like, yeah, let me have it. Can I have it?
They're coming into the board meetings, which we have monthly.
Yeah.
And we've had kids get so excited, Randy. Just what you said, captured their imagination,
Right.
Hands-on learning and doing. We've been the beneficiary of Kathy D'Antoni, who's now on the Marshall Board of Governors. She was our deputy secretary or superintendent of schools.
Yeah.
Kathy created the simulated workforce or workplace,
Oh yeah.
right? Where you could go and you could learn how to run and operate a business. And I met with these kids. They had the soft skills and the technical skills. She was teaching them in the simulated workplace how to really operate and run a business.
Oh, wow.
And she's still at this with a new program of empowerment by learning. And we have a superintendent of the schools, Dave Roach, who is very, very focused right now on ready, read, write, and getting our kids back up because of what we've gone through with COVID.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
But man, is he ever excited about the possibilities of hands-on learning.
Yeah.
What CTE brings to us, and CTE is not separate from education. They're one. They're one and the same. It's just a different way of learning.
Yeah.
Few of us learn by sitting in a chair
Right.
for 6 hours.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You learn
Absolutely.
by doing.
Yeah.
I have one daughter, it's a surgeon. I'm glad she learned by doing.
Right.
I
Yeah.
hate to think she was doing surgery just by having passed the test.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Right.
and everything's been done the same way for how many years? Over hundreds of years. And then, being more innovative, and especially as technology and different things change, making sure that our education system, and to your point, how people are being taught and trained, because, I could go, say I'm really good at taking tests and, get my AWS cert, but if I don't know how to do it hands-on, that's the way the Red Hat exams are. If you don't know how to actually do it, you won't pass the exam. Right. So you have to get that hands-on experience to really know what you're doing.
To really know what you're doing. Absolutely. But it is so promising now as we look at having this continue to evolve and what we're doing with STEAM Tech program through the Public Education Collaborative, and has some tremendous leadership in the CTE programs across the state.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
you
excellent.
have the Rumsey Institute in Eastern Panhandle.
Right.
You talk to the president of the Senate, he made his way through life, a very successful career, refrigeration engineer, an electrician, and a plumber business, and he did very well. He was Speaker of the House, and he has PhD in chemistry, right, from Notre Dame, and a law degree, and is an entrepreneur. And they both are entrepreneurial. So to have those two with the entrepreneurial mindset, having followed two different paths, both wonderful, to where they are, is really wonderful to have them sitting where they are.
Oh, absolutely.
No, that's excellent. So why do you think these strategic partnerships between, government, industry, and academia, why are they so important?
Thought about this for a long time, because I worked at WVU 22 years ago. When David Hardesty was president. It was a wonderful time. And back then the word engagement was being used.
Right.
And actually, what we do as a subcontractor through Parallax is done under the Academic Partnership Engagement Experiment, the APEX program.
Okay.
So education is an enormous part, and the partnership is an enormous part. Why is it important? Academia, and especially higher ed, has always had the virtue of taking the long look. The professor had time to think deeply about it, to take the long look. There's long studies. You have the private sector who can't wait that long, right? So they're a little bit impatient, as you should be. Or if you're publicly traded, you may every quarter have something compelling you to produce. But I think when you take, it's sort of the wisdom of crowds, like James Kerouac said in his book, The Wisdom of Crowds. You get people of different perspectives in the same room together, and then you get government in there when it's functioning really well, and it's able to tell these other partners what the public's expecting and wanting. And then I think, again, you have that nonprofit sitting in the middle that allows these other three to be really, really competitive and think hard and work hard. And I just think it produces, because of those, what produces great partners is not similarities, it's differences. That's what allows you to be great partners, right?
Now that's a short clip.
We need to quote that. We're going to short clip that.
Short clip that?
To our video editor.
But it's the truth. It even makes for good marriages.
I mean, well, it's funny that you bring that up, because we just did that with Advanced Aerial Mobility. We went down to Charleston, and it was Marshall, students from Texas, MIT, and for that round table.
You had, yes.
And I know Jeff Sinclair and I went down for that. He has city drones, and we just kind of talked, and we had people from industry, students, and that kind of stuff, where we were talking about what would be good for the state of West Virginia from advanced air mobility standpoint. What do you feel would work and not work? And they had different scenarios, and we talked them through, and they were like, oh, I never even thought about that. So there was a lot of good
He's
things.
a Taylor County native, isn't he? He's Grafton, I think.
Yes, he is.
What a blessing to have a married a lady whose father was a math professor here. He's retired, but as I understand, he's still in the gym a few days a week at 90.
Oh, he is.
And
I would
not Jeff.
Him.
His father.
His dad. I know. I wouldn't wrestle with dad either.
No way. But I tell you, what a blessing to have that kind of talent. And also, what's so good about having things like Tech is drawing people out and learning about these dormant talents they have. The job they have at a given moment may not be calling on that, but you get to know them and you find out they have a great love for this and a great capability in it. Oh my God. You can never learn that just in a virtual world.
Well,
I love and appreciate the virtual world, but
you said something earlier when we were talking about people getting comfortable too.
I have no recollection of what I said.
If you have people coming in and it's challenging them, then they have to up their game, right?
Yes.
And that's the whole thing. Like, we're not afraid to compete against. Everybody thought we were crazy because we were inviting more competition in, and I'm like, that just makes this elevator game even more.
Absolutely.
Now where innovation happens is outside of groupthink and having if we had everybody on the same page at all times and going towards the same goal, you have to have that diversity of thought.
Well, you never know I think there's a book out about it's been out for a little while now by a guy named Mark Mills. And Mark Morse, a Northwestern, and he's at the Manhattan Institute. He's also a Northwestern engineer, and he's written a book called Digital Cathedrals about these great big centers that allow us to move information around the cloud. He's written a book about the cloud revolution, and he's talking about the future. And then he talks about how it's not one technology that leads us to these these convergences. Right? It was telephony and power plants and cars at one time, and sort of materials, information, and machines. And it's always those three kind of converge. And he's thinking now that the cloud's only at its mere beginning. Let me interview you on. I know that. What do you think?
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I always say data is the new oil, right? Back in the day where everybody's trying to do even the gold rush and stuff, data is that, right? How to take that unstructured data, turn it into innovation or information. We call it innovation as well. And being able to use that to the benefit. So to your point, I think that's definitely spot on.
No, it's super exciting, but the future is wide open, and I know we feel like sometimes it's moving at us so fast, but that's what and look, we're all having fun.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm old, I could be golfing. I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep working because this is. Let me say this, for the 35 years I've been in and around community and economic development, I really thought I applaud him for doing, I think Sean Frisbee had one of the best ideas about how to do an entrepreneurial structure that would bring something new to West Virginia.
Yes.
That would be new, that we could partner with other people.
Yeah.
Really, so glad he did. I'm glad he asked me to go to work for him.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because this is just flat out promising and fun, and we have other people that have been brought aboard. Mary Cook is just,
I love Mary. Yeah. So Sean, Mary, Jeff Gruzy. I know Randy Hefner's.
Randy Hefner, right?
Are over there
Right.
now.
If I need to know something about Matt,
Bill Harrison.
Bill Harrison.
Oh man, the Vertx crew. If you haven't went to their website or looked them up, this is a shameless plug, but I'm doing it because they have been absolutely phenomenal. They bend over backwards to take care of us, make sure we're getting connected with people, and they are trying to truly do great things here in the state of West Virginia and bring more people in and collaborate. So I cannot say enough great things about Vertx Partners.
I tell you what, I appreciate being aboard the team. And one other thing about, we're trying to do several things at once. Mm-hmm. One, we have, Pennsylvania has 1.7 plus million PK through 12 kids. So does Ohio.
Right.
We have 1.7 million plus population.
Right.
So we will work across the borders. Okay, it's important. A lot of people, half of our population live in border counties. Yes. They share a life, a market, everything with people on the other side.
Yeah.
The ARC, the Appalachian Regional Commission, right now is promoting working across state borders, because the commission, comprised of 13 states, wasn't to be helping state by state. It was to help them work together.
Yeah.
You look at the western part of our state in eastern Kentucky, they share so much in common, and they can do so much together. University of Kentucky, powerful institution, Louisville. You look at Marshall's down there, you look at High University. I mean, there's really a lot of potential. It really is.
And the same thing even over in the Panhandle, like you were talking about, Shepherd. I mean, the Maryland, Pennsylvania area. I know people up near Willing, a lot of them are so close to Pittsburgh there in Ohio. It's just everything intersects, right? And that's just it. So Gail Manchin was our keynote speaker at last year's
Right.
And then she made it very clear. She's like, now, I'm over the ARC committee, but it's not just West Virginia. It's the 13 states of Appalachia.
Exactly.
Really. And when we talked about the advanced air mobility, I actually brought that up as like, don't just do what's good for West Virginia. That there's like Appalachian, so we could be able to connect with the.
We just need the corridor to come across us, Virginia, and we'll hook you up with Ohio. Just pass through West Virginia. I mean, it really does make a lot of sense.
5 states. There's a lot of opportunity.
Well, the governor and others for a long time have made mention of the fact that we're so close to such a large part of the population that serves us well within a day's drive and so much of it. But there's so many other things to recommend West Virginia right now. If you look at Nucor is coming here. One of the best steelmakers in the entire world is located here. You have Berkshire Hathaway, which is going to locate here, put in utility scale solar, for which there had to be a policy change made at the legislature, a very well thought out policy change to allow that to occur. And then they're going to make aerospace grade titanium through one of their own subsidiaries.
Wow.
Think about that.
Yeah.
We have the green bus, electric bus in Kanawha County. There's a lot of things going on in a lot of parts of the state now. We used to worry about the chicken and the egg conundrum. Do we need jobs, or do we need people educated for them? Yes. The answer is now yes.
Right.
One of the most promising times I've seen. And the good thing is there are jobs all along the continuum for folks. You can, it's all about sharing reason. We were just over Sinclair College recently, which is a community college with 33,000 students.
Wow.
They have 33,000
That's more than
community college in Dayton.
Wow.
Very special mission in life. They have local levies that help support them. People pay. It's unbelievable. They have a great advanced air mobility, everything. And Bill No went with us. Just a fabulous visit. I've been there twice. But what they were telling us were they were working if they have a credential that they issue, they think about embedding that credential in the next step somebody may want to take, a 2-year program. And then that's embedded inside maybe the next step, a 4-year program, and so on, so that you don't do something for which it isn't applicable to another step you may want to take.
Right.
I mean, that's really good thinking. They were telling me that high school students are leaving high school with 2-year AA degrees.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And a wonderful ticket to a wage that would be impressive to me.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's just a fabulous opportunity that we're learning from them. So we're sharing.
Yeah.
We're learning. It's great.
Yeah. I know Bill Gates was in about, 3 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
To take a look. And I know that Jim Eastep has been trying to get them to come look at the I-79 technology park as well. All these things that you're talking about, and part of what we were trying to use Tech was get that megaphone and say, look at all the great things that's happening here in West Virginia, right? I mean, you talk about the FBI Center, NASA, NOAA, the Department of Energy,
Department of Commerce.
Department of Commerce, Department of Treasury, and a lot of people don't know that's here in the state of West Virginia, right?
Right.
So we
can host more.
noise. Oh, absolutely.
We can literally support more.
Yeah.
And it would be so self-actualizing. I think it would give more opportunities for graduates, of various levels to go to work, and it would really help us build.
We had a great conversation with Jim Eastep actually on it was last year.
Podcast.
On this podcast.
He's super.
Yeah, he was great and explained the federal operations here and how can we in the higher education space retain our talent, retain the people that we're educating, and it's by bringing in these new federal operations and getting opportunities
to give them
out
opportunities here. But there may be something in a lot of us that's sort of a yearning to travel, to go.
Yeah.
What we need to make sure is we have something for people to come back to.
Right.
Oh, exactly.
What they want to come back to. And another thing, I remember Gordon Gee made this joke, and I think it was in Naples, Florida one. It was really funny. He said, we're going to build a wall around West Virginia and have a high pay for it.
Oh my God.
Which was really hilarious.
Yeah.
Made me think, though, what's really cool is to keep someone else's kids. Meaning, one of our greatest ports of entry of new people into our state are colleges and universities. People come to them, and they come here if they can have a good experience and an opportunity like you're describing. They stay. They bring outside thinking, outside influence, outside money, outside connectivity.
Exactly.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
It's an immigration we want to support.
100%.
I was in college when Hardesty was there, so probably whenever you were there.
Yeah.
And it was funny, they used to have shirts that said University of New Jersey, West Virginia campus. Because so many people are from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Ohio. All these people came here. And to your point, a lot of them stay. My wife is actually from Philadelphia, right? So I just didn't let her leave.
Right.
And actually, because of Trilogy, we relocated 4 West Virginians back to West Virginia,
well, you all
myself included.
Almost about 40 folks working there. That's amazing. It's wonderful.
Yeah. And that was part of our mission. Even our vice president of business operations, he was on Good Morning America as part of the Ascend program.
Oh,
right.
He won the relocation.
I mean, who can say enough good and thanks to Brad and Elise Smith for what they've done?
Yeah.
And that is amazing. I mean, I know that President Gee always thanks him for giving him money before he became president of Marshall. That program's for our whole state. Now people are thinking about teachers ascending and entrepreneurs ascending. I mean, just and there's programs all over the United States, Tulsa, remote work, but nothing structured like what Brad and Elise brought to us here. Now I'm just so thankful to them for what they did.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were a beneficiary because he was working for another company, and then after 3 or 4 months, he came to work for us.
Well, the great thing about most philanthropic giving, when you look at where it comes from successful entrepreneurs.
Yeah, absolutely.
It does. And and you think about how we've been blessed. We were blessed by Mike Pushkar and, Hazel Rubin McQueen and Buck Harris, people we talked about before we got started. We need to grow another group of folks like that who have the capacity to give back.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that's, again, with tech, that's part of that money given back. But I know most of the small businesses around here, if you look at the signs, if you go to a Little League or whatever, you're going to see most of those signs from like local area small business that are putting their money right back into the community.
Right.
And I think that is very important.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I think this is a good point to kind of transition to how Trilogy works with Vertx Partners. So maybe we could give a little background to the audience on the partnership, or just talk about some things that we've worked on in the past.
Well, I'll turn it over to Randy, but first I'll just say that the team that Sean arrayed. And one thing he did a lot of things in his career. In fact, Sean's career was so impressive to me that he put on one page. That's when you really had a career where you said, I did this and this.
Right.
And he put on one page. I was really impressed. I can't give out on one page. I've done enough. But he's assembled just a group of people that love to work together, and a great part of their mission is to be on the lookout for opportunities that maybe a small company doesn't have the person power to look for, and we're trying to make sure no one misses any opportunities. And to understand them, we get descriptions, corporate capability descriptions from as many as we can, and then we try to find them opportunities. And we have people that are really understanding of the federal budget and all its subtleties and nuances. You see numbers flash across, but what's really going to get funded? What's that agency really interested in?
Correct.
And Sean has assembled a group of people that worked in the military, worked for the private sector, had their own companies, know how to look for these opportunities, and their mission now in life is to do that for others. They're not in it for them. We are. The Air Force pays us to do this work. We don't make money from what is accomplished. Our mission is to get this job done for the benefit of the Air Force. But when you think about the SBIR and the STTR program, you want to talk about that a bit?
Oh, yeah. I can definitely talk about that. And then how we actually ended up getting connected with Sean is somebody had told him what we were trying to do with Tech and just connecting people and stuff like that. And he said, we've been trying to talk about doing that exact same thing. And then he invited us, me down to the Advanced Aerial Mobilization. It was Jim Eastep is who connected me with Sean. It was
December the 5th or 6th.
Yeah. Because, yes, exactly. He connected us together. And then we learned through that meeting what you guys were actually doing and getting connected. And Brandon and I, we actually got started out in the Air Force. We were doing work for Hanscom Air Force Base. We loved it. It was prototyping, doing all this awesome stuff. So when we found out about that, we were like, yes, sign us up. We're happy to look at different things. And they connected us with Tetrix. And I know he had tried multiple times. The guy Steve from Tetrix tried to always do these phase 1 or 2, and he had failed every time. So he had ended up moving out to New Mexico, and then 2 weeks after he moved out there, we got the notification that we were awarded. He's like, "Oh, what?" No, so
it really is 2 weeks,
right? Yeah, it was like 2 weeks or something like that. He said,
"Oh my God!"
He couldn't wait around, and of course, but we ended up getting awarded that SBIR Directive Phase 2. Now, the cool thing about that, it's innovative, and you're doing really cool stuff. But then, that just gets your foot in the door to do more work. If you prove yourself and you do really well, then they might get another thing. I actually traveled up to Rome, New York, to AFRL, which is the Air Force Research Lab. I'm throwing out acronyms without stating what it is. It was actually where the 99 Woodstock was. I didn't realize until I got up there. But they have this awesome indoor drone facility where it's a hangar where you can go indoor to out, so you can get different things. But all the stuff they're doing, and back to what you were talking about earlier, they have county taxes, city taxes, and all this stuff that goes in to fund the I'm going to mess this word up, but the Egregious Institute.
Use the acronym. Just use the acronym.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But this institute they're bringing in companies and helping foster that and incubate more growth and entrepreneurship. I'm like, I love this model. Like, this is what we need to do in West Virginia. And it's getting, like, nobody can do things by themselves, but if you collaborate with good people, you can get anything done. And that's what we're trying to get out there. And all these folks is like, join the wave. Right, help do this and make sure that West Virginia is flourishing. Not even so much now, but 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20. I mean, that's how we have to do it. If you're not working now, then you can't say, why weren't we successful in 20 years? Right. And don't rely on anybody else to do it. Just get people and do it yourself.
That's the money for innovation, right? So we have Mountain State Capital and we raise money here regionally and so on and so forth. There's angel investing. Yeah. But one great America's Seed Fund, as it likes to call itself now, the SBIR STTR program, Small Business Innovative Research. And there's a Small Business Technology Transfer Research program where you have to have a higher ed or a harder, like a Patel. There's another exception. Right. But anyway, what's so beautiful about this is non-dilutive money. Okay, it takes no equity in your company. Right. There's 11 federal agencies. That includes DOD with all of its different military branches. And in their enlightened self-interest, they want to have a successful vendor to something they need. So phase 1 will allow you to look at proof of concept, and then it'll go to phase 2. It could be a directed phase 2. We'll get some acronyms. But the point is, it's early stage money that if you qualify for, it takes none of your equity, doesn't take your intellectual property, because the agency in their own interest wants you to be successful, and they want you to be successful not in providing them a product that they need at a given time, but they want you to have a dual market so that they can have a long-term vendor that they can rely on, but who does not have to solely rely on that agency for their existence. So the beauty is these SBIRs, STTRs can help our higher ed institutions and the professors there with their research. It can mobilize all that. It can get people money they need. A lot of times it takes some time to do these SBIRs. So Mary Cook has just become expert at this.
Yes, absolutely.
And we have these folks that Sean knew from his military days, have great expertise in this, who we have arrayed. We're not allowed to do the SBIR, STTR for you, but we can help you. And besides getting small businesses in the queue, we're needing to get what they term non-traditionals, like a company that's never done a defense contract or never even done a government contract, because they believe that the virtue of that is not only getting more participation from that arena, but they're going to find solutions to their problems. They want to cast the net much larger. And in this country, we don't do that by command and fiat. You will all think it. We do it by encouraging and incentivizing. And that's what this is. This fund's been around since the early 1980s. So every year it's been reauthorized time and time again. But it's about $4 billion nominally in a given year across all these agencies. Okay? I mean, DARPA has been, the Pentagon's Brain is a book. The title so called it, but they've done amazing things. But they'll not solve everything. We need to mobilize more brain power in a hurry. And now's the time you can do it, and you can be successful. You can hire people. You can do everything that's making Randy happy. He's hiring West Virginians. I mean,
he's our lead recruiter.
And you're even better. You're trying to bring the New Mexico guy back.
Exactly.
Well, and honestly, what's great is
love it.
We have agencies that are opening up the talent pool by allowing remote work. And so that is bringing intellectual property to West Virginia without even having to physically move somebody.
And we have people, again, so generous of spirit. And one would be Brian Joseph at Touchstone Lab up in Wheeler, Philadelphia, right below Cabela's when you're going west.
Exactly where that is.
He's been the master of getting the SBIRs. He's helped build those companies and the subsidiaries, and he will help people
Wow.
Tech Connect, which is a nonprofit organization in West Virginia I'm on the board of. I mean, he will from time to time come on and help people learn about how to do it, easing their fears. It's not, don't be afraid of this.
Right.
You know, it's not that ominous.
Yeah.
Once you know how to do it, and this is a wonderful way to help get your company funded and started.
Yeah.
It's an option.
Actually, this is a great point. And for anybody that's listening or watching this, that has a small business or is thinking about, going in that direction, I think that all the resources that you've just talked about are an incredible value. And that's one of the reasons we started this podcast. And Tech was to get the word out there.
If you do go to vertxpartners.org, just go there, and it's pretty rich. We've had, we've been blessed with Andrew Seeley and Vincent Scalise and Tristan and that team, our marketing, they really put together a good website that you can get to a lot of places in a hurry if you want to know about these things we've talked about. Yeah. And then whatever else help you need, please, it has a form on there. You can contact us. We will respond.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Well,
with alacrity.
Yes. Well, and you mentioned the STTR. So I know Jeff and I went down and met with some folks down in Marshall that developed some of these sensors that would be able to kind of read methane levels and that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But, in West Virginia, I just went through their innovation lab and their CNC machines and all the stuff that they're doing with their 3D printers. And it's just awesome to see. Like when I was in college, I'm like, I wish that we had this stuff.
Was that RCBI
or? We actually went to, they were at the Cybersecurity Institute.
Oh, the okay.
Marshall.
Yeah.
So we toured that, but then they had some other labs down there. And then here at WVU, we went to their innovation lab at WVU and saw the things that they're doing. So the universities, to your point earlier, they have like these long-term visions. And then we come in, we say, this is the problem we need to solve. And they're like, oh, well, we developed the sensor. How could you utilize it? So then we're able to work with them to say, oh, we can write a whole application around this. And here's real world use cases, how it could be used today. So there's where the collaboration comes in to be able to say, we need this now. And then the intellectual property, and then you can kind of spin that off as a whole nother business or company. Yeah. So it's really amazing.
He's talking about this because he's really done. This collaboration is really working. Right. There's a Harvard Business Review. It's from a few years back, but it's got like 5 or 6 people on it's not a tandem bike, it's like 6 people.
Oh, you're right.
And it was a whole thing about the literature on collaboration and why it works, how it works, the things you have to do. But I think having people that are leaders in a company that are generous of spirit, want other people to succeed, it's amazing. It's not all about just hardcore competition.
Right.
A whole lot of nature is about collaboration.
Yeah.
You look out there from everything from the crocodile opens his mouth, that little bird pecks.
Right.
You have to have a lot of trust in you. I mean, what made me think of that? But it's been up like
a good analogy.
It's a good analogy. But just the whole idea about working together is okay. I mean, there are lines where you shouldn't cross, of course.
Right.
You never want anybody getting near anything like that.
Right.
But collaboration and working together. And again, I'm seeing it by some. The leaders in the state are really working hard. They're pulling in and we're blessed right now with a budget surplus and a rainy day fund. I'm hearing some great things about some educational a chance to get some ECATs, these special assistants in the classroom to make sure our little ones who have been affected by COVID, missed a year of school or so, that we can help them get back up to speed in a hurry. And we do have to help them in a hurry. And the legislature is making some really good decisions right now on how to best support that.
I know that affected my son. He started out kindergarten, so he's trying to. You have a 5-year-old sitting in front of a computer trying to have headphones on. They want to fidget around and stuff. So basically, missed the first year, and it wasn't just him, but most kids in the class are like for the first grade. They're like, oh, they're way behind and that kind of stuff. So it feels like it's always been this catch up now for the past couple of years of trying to get them up to speed. So that is a real problem that's happening.
But we have some money now. We have a chair of education in the Senate, Senator Amy Grady, who is a 4th grade teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Who she brings that current. I mean, she has a leave for 60 days, but she has in classroom experience.
Yeah,
you know, and then we had Joe Statler, who's the vice chair in the House, is from Mon County.
Yes,
and I think have two vice chairs. One's for higher ed, Joe's sort of taking that, and one's K-12. But Joe spent years on our local school board, so he has that perspective.
Right.
So we're really blessed with having some folks down there now that are really pulling hard in the same direction.
Yeah,
that's great on the education side. And we just got to continue to get more federal operations in and get the word out that there's opportunities here in West Virginia. Yeah. So
that's been Jim Eastep's message.
I know.
I've known him a long time, and that whole idea about how we can support more, and we can.
Yes.
And the more activity we have here, that success will help us breed success.
Yeah.
Right.
You come here, you be successful.
Maybe we can take some of that rainy day $1 billion to finish quarter H. Just that last little 6 miles.
That wee little.
Done. Oh gosh. Right. It's like, get that pipeline going. Because I'm originally from Elkins, and that was always the thing. Oh, they're building this quarter H up through Parsons, Tucker County, and all that.
Yeah.
But I'll be 44th in this month, and it's still out there for as long as I can remember.
It's close.
It's close now. Yeah. I mean, if we can just get that last little bit. But again, because you think about that, and you think of Glenville or Flatwoods or anything like that.
Right.
And also get in the middle part of the state to have something like what we do here in North Central West Virginia with the technology park, the CDC, DOE, and all that. And I know down in Charleston, there's Department of Treasury and VA and all these other things, but getting something also in the middle part of the state and having it grow up to where, I mean, it's just booming all over. And again, that's part of what
there's a place for partnership between two academic institutions. Mark Manson, who is the president of Glenville State University, he's working with Marshall. They're working on, I think it may be a nursing or it's a medically related program, but they're collaborating on. Because Marshall has a med school.
Right.
I think collaboration between our higher ed institutions where 1 and 1 can equal more than 2.
Oh yeah.
It's the synergy, it's the potentiation.
Yeah.
1 and 1 can equal a lot more now if you put them together.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Well, that's excellent. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else that you guys want to talk about in particular.
Oh yeah,
but
I brought lots.
I know.
3 stacks of
I
know. We can go on all day.
I know.
I just thoroughly enjoyed it. Just to watch the excitement in your all's faces. Working for just to watch the excitement is just tremendous.
Yeah.
We've not always been this excited. I mean, we faced some tough times, but now we just have to make the best decisions possible we can with the good news we've had and we have in front of us. Now's probably when to really push harder.
So what are you most excited about for this year, and when it comes to either government, industry, academia, how we all collaborate in general? Like what are you most excited about for this year?
I mean, I think seeing some of these companies that have been sort of in the incubation period, we've gone through COVID. COVID obviously slowed some things down.
Yeah.
I think now that we're coming out of COVID, and not that there were some companies that prospered greatly because of that situation.
Right, yeah.
But I think a lot of what's been started here that's in the future, that's what's exciting, is to begin to see these projects break ground,
right?
And they're in
coming
different
out
parts
of
of
these
the
holding
state.
phases.
We have Procter and Gamble in Eastern Panhandle.
Okay.
And, we have them. There's a great big anchor there up in the northern Panhandle. Brooke County, someone had an electric boat, the electric pontoon boat.
Right.
And you come on down to Jackson County and what used to be Ravenswood Aluminum and Century Aluminum.
Right.
Now it's going to be. That's where they have the Berkshire Hathaway facility, right?
Does Warren Buffett know something about making money? I don't know.
Think of this.
I mean, it was Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah, right.
Warren Buffett.
I think it's great to have.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's just fast. That supposedly that project, I believe this is accurate, got to us because now Senator Jeffries, in maybe Putnam County, he wrote a letter that got high enough up in the organization in Berkshire Hathaway, maybe even to Warren Buffett, but it got high enough up, it got noticed. That's how we got him here. Somebody from here reached out, worked hard enough, and just went at it and got that.
Well, and he ended up buying Dominion.
He bought Dominion, right?
Yeah. So
because he said he only bets on things with 20 and 30.
Yes.
He's got optimism.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
That's because his vice chair is 99.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
He's still working.
They're still working.
Wow.
Well, and like you said, they're excited about what's going on and that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
the fact that he is investing also in West
Right.
Virginia should raise some eyebrows to say, hey, what's going on in West Virginia? Maybe we need to take a look.
Well, and Nucor.
Nucor,
Another
absolutely.
affirmation. We have a number of those that are happening. And there's other, right down the road, it's Fairmont State University. I mean, we have a number of institutions that have programs that can turn on a dime to create a program of support for the workforce development that's needed. Pierpont Community and Technical College.
Yeah.
Our community and technical colleges have a special role.
Well,
So
and I don't know if you
I'm
know this.
optimistic about people really finding new ways to pitch in and make their institution successful.
That's awesome.
Do you know that there's been grants for like community colleges and stuff that like if we bring them on as interns, it actually pays for half the cost that we pay them. Say we pay them $20 an hour, 10 of that is actually covered under the grants.
Yep.
And the state
Okay.
has developed these programs for these community colleges to help make sure that everybody's getting out there. So I found out about that last year. I'm like, this is awesome. Had no idea.
Yeah.
But again, all this money, to your point, that's coming in is doing great things, and we need to capitalize and make sure that we continue all that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
utilizing those programs and grants and being part of the community.
Yeah.
We have incredible water resources.
Yeah.
Some places in our country right now, unfortunately, are severely challenged
Yeah.
in terms of their water resources.
Yes.
Either way too little, when we look at Lake Mead and so
Right,
on,
yeah.
or way too much all at once.
Right.
West Virginia, we've had our problems with flooding.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
but those are in areas which are severe topography.
Yeah, I've been down to Gilbert.
We
I
can
was
solve
doing
those.
masonry construction.
Well, we have wonderful water resources.
Mhm.
Southern West Virginia has great potential in aquaculture,
yeah. Oh yeah.
fish farming.
Yeah.
It'll work.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things different parts of our state can do
Mhm.
where they can have an excellence.
Yeah.
Well, and to that point, they're talking about sensors and stuff for bridges to
Yeah.
alarm and alert people. So as the water rises, that they're to limit deaths and everything or catastrophes from happening, to get that out. Whether it's most everybody seems to have a cell phone these days. If you got notification that hey, watch out and this is happening in your area, that way we're saving lives. I mean, there's no reason why we
Great
can't be
point.
doing that.
Great point. I mean, almost that can come to fruition maybe quicker. We've seen the movies, we've seen the efforts on tornadoes.
Yeah,
trying
exactly.
to figure
what's
out a way
happened.
to give people an earlier warning. Like I
Yeah.
said,
Maybe Twister, right?
yeah, I mean,
Right.
trying to figure out a way, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's one maybe you figured out.
Yeah.
Talking about sensors, that brings up another great success, Iconic Air.
Yeah.
Right? They developed. It was a sensor they developed, right?
Yeah.
What-
And I think
what are
they're
they called? What?
Iconic Air.
Iconic Air.
Kyle
Okay.
Gillis and they were, and I think they've been given. So they've had some space down at Advantage Ventures.
Yeah,
the
Advantage
Sarah
Ventures.
Biller's running.
Yeah.
And John Chambers is so supportive of. But I think they're one of their markets now is the oil and gas sector.
Yes, absolutely.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So I mean, they came up with one thing, and then they found out that the Air Force. Well, I think they were they would say, why would they be interested?
Yeah.
They're interested in measuring everything.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so you've seen like what they developed for one thing. Remember, I think once upon a time in a famous lab where they created the laser.
Uh-huh. Oh.
But that lab was a communications company.
Oh, really?
And
Yeah.
said, well, what a laser ever have to do with
Right.
communication? We don't need
Yeah.
that, right? They
Right.
gave, yeah.
Yeah, I
Remember
think
those
it was
famous
Xerox
cases?
that had that originally created the mouse. A copying company
Yeah.
created the mouse. That
Who would
everybody
ever
uses,
want a
right?
computer in their home?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Who would want that?
I mean,
Yeah.
you think of how we've changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and you think, I mean, just amazing. I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
Most optimistic. I'm usually optimistic, and this is
Yeah.
the most optimistic I've been.
Well,
For
that's-
grandkids, I think they're going to have a good go of it
Yes.
if we keep our noses at the grindstone and
Absolutely.
make sure a lot of other people get chances and they make good on like you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you guys
Absolutely.
have made good on
Appreciate
everything
that.
you've
Yeah.
been given. I tell
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
true. And
you. You guys have been given a lot. You guys have worked for it.
Right.
have worked for it.
Laced up those bootstraps, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But
But you're helping other people.
yeah.
You've already got the instinct that happens with entrepreneurs. When they're successful, they want to help.
Exactly.
Most serial entrepreneurs become VCs and angels,
Right.
right?
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Right.
Well, and that's what when we were on with Jim Matuga with Positively West Virginia, that's kind of what we talked about too, was making sure to pull the next person up. I actually grew up in a 2-bedroom trailer, and I had 3 brothers. We had bunk beds pushed together, right? So, and growing up like that, knew my dad said, well, if you want something, you got to go out and get it and work hard, right? So as we kind of come up and do things here, we want to help that next person, that next hungry person. Charles Pinkerton used to walk 25 miles to work. The Charles Pinkerton Foundation that Tech sponsored, he would walk from Mill Creek to Snowshoe just to work and then try to walk home, right? Wow. So it's taken that mindset. But when he passed, he had went through school. He got an English degree. Then he got a master's in business administration. Then went back and got his law degree. And he had started his own law firm here in Morgantown. But he had died in a motorcycle accident, right? So, but to carry on his legacy, that's what we were trying to do.
Okay.
And again, it's people that, might have struggled or didn't come from anything when they were younger. And that's part of our mission, is give back and help that next person.
Yeah.
Because he was a great guy, and you don't know what these people can do, right? So let's help them.
Exactly, help them.
Yeah.
And that's so promising for kids in our school system, because I think right now we're really opening up our eyes to the possibilities. Everybody learns in different ways.
Yeah.
And we have to, we've asked so much out of teachers.
Right.
We really have.
Yeah.
We've laid so much upon teachers.
For little pay.
So now we have to help them.
Yeah.
Because I've gotten to know so many of them. They're treasures.
Yeah.
Oh,
All of us
absolutely.
go back, and I can think, oh my God, for Mrs. Brill in the 6th grade teaching me math. Well, I took like 6 years off then, little vacation, but I could still learn once I got to college because of Mrs. Brill.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you met Amber Nichols?
Oh, I know her.
So,
From
She actually
Westwood.
lives in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
She is phenomenal.
Yeah. Teacher of the year.
Yeah.
She is, and I think when she first became a teacher, they were out west. Her husband was in the military. Thank you, in Oklahoma.
Aaron,
Yeah, I met him. And, she's fabulous. And she's now doing videos where we have the ready, read, write. That really hype and focus on getting that done right away the best we can. And Amber's been doing spots in her classroom, how to teach, the 5 pillars of reading, the science of reading. There's incredible literature on all that. But there is a way that they believe now is the optimum way to teach reading, and that's what they're doing. And Amber's part of pitching that, because she's a wonder. Watch her in class with those kids.
Right, yeah.
It's just
I know when Logan started at Eastwood Elementary, and then again, that was COVID that year.
Yeah.
We were trying to get in the Amber Nichols. I think they had to eventually stop doing requests, because everybody was requesting to get in her class. Because everybody in our neighborhood is like, you got to get in Amber's class.
Right.
Well, that's a good rep to have. She deserves it.
Absolutely.
But I just overwhelming. That's what teachers are. But there's, kids are having troubles now. You never saw this early or this much, and we all know we've been through a crazy time. Yeah. So we all have to stay bound together and help each other out.
Right.
Completely agree.
Man, what an enlightening conversation. I feel like I learned so much just listening to you, Scott. So thank you so much.
Well, it's been a delight being here. Yeah. Congratulations, and thank you all, everyone out there.
Yes. Thank you all very much for joining us today. And Scott, thanks again for joining us today.
That's not a sun lamp, is that?
Yeah, I know. Does it feel like it? Can you feel it?
Nice tan.
And we're done.
Yeah.